What's up, people? Welcome to the Holy Coder. Today we're going to talk about the fundamentals of programming, introduction to Python, and setting things up on your computer. Alright, let's start with programming. Programming is just a cool word for telling computers what to do. Computers implement the instructions that are given to them. These instructions are given in form of a script or a program. Computers read these scripts and do stuff. Now, these programs are written in specific programming languages. These programming languages are written by the people and for the people. They are easy to understand by humans and are compiled by another program which actually converts the high-level language which we understand as humans, and it converts that into a normal language of the computers, the simple language that computers can understand and compute stuff. Eventually everything gets converted into ones and zeros and your CPUs compute the results. Now that's a mouthful. Let me explain that with a simple example so a person who is totally new to programming can understand this. Let's say you are in a foreign country. For simplicity, let's say China. You're buying something from a street vendor. You talk to that person in English, they won't understand what you're saying. Then you talk to a translator in English and they translate it in Chinese for the vendor. You ask for a lemonade, pay them in cash, resulting in a meaningful transaction. Because they could understand what you were saying because of the translator. Now that translator is like a compiler, converting things into something the Chinese person can understand. Compilers kind of work that way. Learning how compilers work is not in the scope of this video, but learning programming is. So let's get to it. Now let's talk about how programming helps us solve these logical problems. There are two ways it does that: repetition and conditionals. Conditionals are statements that let us define things with if-else statements. If this condition is true, do this. If it is not true, do that. For example, let's say I'm writing a program for a security system that lets someone enter if they are the home owner. If they're not the home owner, don't let them in. So an if-else condition will be used, which will say if the person at the door is the home owner, let them in. Else, keep the door shut. The second thing is repetition. Repetition is when you have to do some task again and again as long as some condition holds true. For example, keep drinking water as long as you're thirsty. With these two techniques, you can solve almost any logical problem. Now let's talk about usage. Well, you already know why programming is important. That's why you're here, learning the skill. Please comment down below why you're learning it in the first place and why do you think it's important. Now let's talk about Python. Python is a fourth generation programming language, which means that it is designed to be very similar to English. It's easier to understand and read for most people. And let's discuss what we can actually do with it. Python is famous among the scientific community. It is very good for machine learning and deep learning. There are many libraries that let you do machine learning and deep learning easily. And it is also used a lot in back-end development for websites. It is a general purpose language and can be used almost everywhere. So now we're going to talk about setting up your environment, and first thing that you got to do is download Python. Just go to this website or just search it like download Python and this will come up, and then just download Python here and install it. Installing process is very simple. And after you have installed it, just make sure it's above 3 version, though you're new, so I think you'll just download this latest version. So just install this latest version for Python and install it, and after you're done, I strongly recommend, it is not important that you download this, but it's very much recommended that you do this, that you download Visual Studio Code. Most of our work will be here, all of it. But I will show you another way to run code apart from Visual Studio Code. It's just simpler to have a command line interface integrated in the same application where you're writing code. But we're gonna talk about these things. If you don't understand any of that, don't worry about it, and just download this. You can download this in any operating system that you're using, I suppose Windows or Mac. And yeah, let's talk about it in the next video where we're gonna start working. And so I'm gonna talk to you in the next video this week, and we're gonna start doing real programming because theory is overwhelming. Yikes. So let's start doing real programming. And if you're a beginner, you're overwhelmed and you didn't get any of the stuff so far, I mean, it's just beginner stuff, but all of that stuff is just gonna come up. This was just so you just know what you're getting into, so you're not learning the wrong thing. So, which I don't know how that could happen, but sure. From the next tutorial, things are gonna start, and see you soon.